Get ready with me while I spill my beans. Yes. Okay, so my name is Shayla Ashley. I am new to YouTube. I have been on social media in the past. I was gathering followers on TikTok, but TikTok got bought out. I was like, hell no. I'm not with that. So I ended up leaving TikTok and then I went to an isolation period. So today we're going to be talking about my isolation period, why I went to an isolation period, and what I learned in my isolation period. So if anybody is also going through a similar situation where you are pretty much wanting to go into hermit mode, coming out of hermit mode, or just been in the situation that I've been in, then stay tuned. So we're going to start with the ELF primer, power grip primer. Of course, as seen on TV. We already moisturized. I already went out earlier today. So if you see me looking down, I have a little vanity mirror. But yeah, so I went to isolation mode, I want to say January, whenever TikTok got bought out. But I went like full isolation mode. I was already getting to that point by October. The reason why is because I had just recently gotten out of a situation in regards to an old friend. And it wasn't necessarily the friend's fault. It was more so they were just a catalyst to me wanting to kind of like go like delve in deeper, because I kept finding myself in situations where I was like bullshitting, right? I was bullshitting, okay? I was finding myself in situations where I was kind of like not putting my best foot forward. I wasn't really showing up to particular situations, right? Particular situations. And like it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good to be in those energies. It didn't feel good to continue trying to maintain certain relationships that I knew weren't necessarily meant for me to maintain. And so, yeah, like I said, that friendship literally was just a catalyst for me just wanting to be like, okay, like, I need to figure my shit out. So, backstory, I went through a lot of, like, I went through like a stint of trauma, right? Being online, being chronically online at an age where there were no restrictions, there were no parental controls, no outcries for what's on the internet. There was none of that. So I lost my grandmother. She was the woman who raised me and my sister. Right after that, I got in with a really bad crowd. Shit happened, right? Some euphoria type shit happened. And it kind of put me in this situation. Like I was getting out of an abusive situation. And it put me in this mind state of just like, oh, I'm worthless, nothing. You get what I'm saying? I want it.
They ask you how you are.
Right? And this was all around the time of like, this was between like 16 to like 19, right? Just this fight with myself, trying to like figure out, girl, what am I doing? Why am I here? Who am I? What do I want to do with my life? So on and so forth, right? I don't know. See, I got this concealer, right? I don't know if this is the right complexion for me, but it's supposed to help with like color correcting. We just gonna see. I'm no expert in makeup. Like I have my stints where like I'm wanting to do makeup all day, every day, and then I have other days where I'm just like, nah, I don't really care. So right now we are going to be in this. You're going to learn with me, right? And if you have tips, please be sure to let me know. Feel free to like go down in the comments. Be nice though. Be nice. Let's keep it cute. But let me know in the comments, you know, like how I can better prepare myself to do a routine, and also just help me with my routine in general. So yeah, I was where was I? Oh yeah, so I was just in a place in my life where I was like really depressed. Really depressed. Didn't really feel like I had anybody to talk to, because when I was in middle school, I went through a situation that ended up with me having to go to court, and I just felt really unprotected in that situation with my parents and just how they handled it. So when I went through what I went through, when I went through that abusive situation in high school, I didn't tell anybody until I didn't. My parents still don't know. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie, they still don't know, and I don't think they ever will, because it's just they don't know how to handle that, and I don't want to have to sit here and deal with them not knowing how to handle, you know, really serious situations. So I'd rather just not deal with it. Okay, sorry, I had to go get my setting spray. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. This slick back is so tight on my head, it's hard for me to think. It's taking away my thoughts at the same time. Yeah, so I don't really want you to feel bad for me, because it was so long ago. And I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't feel bad for me. But if you want to feel bad for me, I'm not going to complain. But yeah, you shouldn't feel bad for me, just because I was able to overcome that in my own way. I had a really big issue when I was younger of just like being in my own little world, and it was a form of escapism. But in that meantime of me just being in my own little world, it opened up a whole new experience for me. Like, I became deeply interested in the esoteric. I became deeply intrigued with just the way of life and the way people exist, people's actions, the way they decide to make those actions, when they choose to make those actions. Like, I really went inside, and I was very real with myself. I was very adamant about like knowing who I was, knowing what I did, why I did it, and you know, the steps behind why I made those decisions, right? And so with that, I hope this is not all over the place. Like, I'm trying to multitask, and it's hard, but we gonna figure it out. So we're using LA Girl Pro Concealer. We are doing what is called underpainting. That's something that I learned on TikTok when I was still on TikTok. So that's what we're doing. We're doing underpainting, right? I'm not gonna do a whole lot of concealer, just because I don't want it to, like, I don't feel like I have one of those faces that needs a lot of makeup. Every time I put on boatloads of makeup, I've always looked like a fucking clown. So we're not gonna do that today. Let's hope not. But yeah, so I got really interested in the esoteric. I got really intrigued with the way of human interaction, the way of human life, you know, the decisions that people made, decisions that I made, and how I chose to, like, and what I choose to stick beside. And it wasn't pretty. It definitely was not pretty. Especially like growing up, I had a very loud mouth. I said what I always wanted to say. That really got me into a lot of trouble when I was younger, because as you can imagine, I was saying shit in situations where I did not need to be saying shit. Growing older, I did the traditional route of trying to go to college, of, you know, picking out a simple major and just seeing it through, right? I know I wasn't ready for school. I was not ready for school at all. Like I said, between the stint of like 16 to 18, I had gone through anorexia and binge eating disorder all within that 3-year time span. It was leading up until I started college when I was 18, where I was like really deep into my binge eating disorder. And it was kind of funny, but it kind of won't, because I will order like Papa John's pizza all the time. We're not eating Papa John's now, but I was ordering Papa John's pizza all the time. And I will order it while my mom was like at work. And like she was like trying to help, I guess, in her own way. So she would come home from work, look in the trash can, and be like, she would text me. She would text me, and she'd be like, I know you just had Papa John's sitting in the trash can. And I would order that shit like every day. Like every fucking day.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
It was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like I had a really bad binge eating disorder problem. Like I said, I wasn't ready for school. Like, and my parents really didn't know what was going on. They just, you know, was just like, well, you're going to school, so you better figure it out. And I was just like, okay, right, bet. Should I blend this? Okay, I'm gonna blend this. I'll blend this a little bit. I'm gonna blend it. I also learned when you are applying concealer that you should be really light on the application. Just very like featherweight, just because it blends better and it spreads better. You know what? I'm not doing this right, because I should have contoured as well. But like I said, it's been a while since I've done makeup. So I'm literally learning as I go, as I'm, you know, pouring my heart out and talking about shit I've never talked about in front of anybody ever. Not in a full, you know, just once in one sitting. Like I've told bits and pieces to people, like old friends and stuff, but I've never really told the full story. But yeah, so that's what I was dealing with going into college. I was dealing with a severe eating disorder because of past abuse, feelings of worthlessness, and yeah, no one really knew what the fuck was going on. I didn't really clue anybody in on what the fuck was going on. And yeah, then I went to school. I went to North Carolina A&T under the study. And you know what? People should have known what the fuck was going on, right? Because I had changed my major when I was in college like 3 different times. No lie. I changed my major like 3 different times. I want to put some here. I should have did like this. Fuck it. We still learning. We still learning. We're still learning. And I have a bronzer somewhere. But yeah, I changed my major 3 different times. My first major when I went to A&T was criminal justice. I wanted to go to Central, but my dad was just like, the only application I'm paying for is A&T. So if you got money to pay for Central, I mean, if you got money to pay for a Central application fee, then you go right ahead. But I'm not paying for nothing else other than A&T. And I think A&T, they was doing like an application day sign-on, you know, deal or something. So the application fee was like $15. So I was like, man, fuck it. I'm finna just go to A&T. Fuck it. I don't even want to go to school anyway. So yeah, my dad was just like, yeah, you're not going nowhere else other than A&T. I was like, all right, cool. Fuck it. I don't even want to go to school anyway. So let's just go ahead and get this shit over with. And then, yeah, so my first major was criminal justice. I wanted to be a forensic detective, I think. I wanted to be like on a crime scene and stuff like that. But then I realized how gory that was, and I was just like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to do that no more. And then I changed my major at orientation to animal science. And that's what I pretty much studied my freshman and sophomore year. And then I went to, and then I changed my major to creative writing. And I was just like, by the time I was doing creative writing, I was like, girl, I don't even want to be here. You girl, quit lying. You lying. Don't nobody believe you, bitch. Nobody fucking believe you. Don't nobody believe that you want to be here. You don't even believe that you want to be here. And I was just like, you know what? You're right. You're right. So yeah. Should I use this? Oh no. I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning. Oh my god. I put so much fucking concealer on this bitch. Fuck it, bro. Fuck it, bro. Fuck it. If I look like a clown, I just look like a fucking clown. I don't think I'm gonna look like a clown now. Like I said, this is underpainting. So there is hope yet to get this shit right. And this relationship that I was talking about in the beginning, I met them literally first day of my orientation. And we really hit it off. We had hit it off since. Well, we had hit it off when we were in college. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Our relationship was very tumultuous. It was a little gay. But yeah, it was overall, it was just very tumultuous. Like, I think both of us were just on different pages in our lives. And I was one of those people who was really dedicated to like figuring myself out and like wanting to find my ticks, wanting to like figure out why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting, why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. I was really deep into that shit. And at this point, I was being called a therapist by a lot of my friends, and I was leaning into that trope. And as much as it was harming me, I was also very codependent. So yeah, and this relationship was no different. It was no different. It did not, because of, you know, how ooh, girl, okay, sister, okay, let's take our time. But because of, you know, just the choices that I wanted to make, I don't think that I was ever really in a place where I was, you know, capable of not being codependent. Like I said, I was going through a lot, honey. I was going through a shit ton. And I didn't really, you know, express the entirety of what I was going through, especially not the family. Yeah, so this friendship was really just a manifestation of what I thought was, you know, what I needed. And it felt good at the moment. It felt like we were kindred spirits. It felt like shit just lined up the way it was supposed to line up. And I don't deny that, you know, that person was meant to be in my life at that time. But I can also admit that I was not meant to be in that space. And it came to that realization. I came to that realization after my abuser delivered my pizza. Yeah, my abuser delivered my pizza. And I fucking spiraled. I was like, yo, my one comfort from, you know, what I was trying to run away from is fucking delivering my fucking pizza. And that really definitely just, it broke something in me. And to not get the reaction that I thought I wanted from that friend, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that. It was like, girl, what the fuck are we doing here? And not just in this friendship, but at this school. What am I doing, bro? What am I doing? What am I doing in this, just what am I doing here? I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And yeah, like that, it was a really deep tower moment for me. I was also at that time where I was learning more about astrology, and I was learning how to meditate. And yeah, after that happened, me and my friend, we stopped being friends. We broke up. We had a friendship breakup, and it grew. When I tell you, it was giving sister, it was giving Gossip Girl. Like, it was so dramatic and messy for no reason. But honey, that's really just what I was feeling. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and just take that away from me. Yeah, and then at that point, I was like, after that, it was weird because we were roommates. And so, yes, and they were roommates, girl. And they were roommates. But yeah, it was weird because after that, we still had to like coexist with each other. And we still had to like be around each other. We still had the same friend groups. And yeah, like I just, for the life of me, what couldn't I do? What couldn't I do, girl? Yeah, like it was just a weird time. Like, cause at the same time, like as I was like trying to figure it out, trying to heal, I was also spiraling deeply, you know, secluding myself, but also kind of bleeding on people, as one does when they go through tons and tons of trauma, get re-triggered by that trauma, and then have to go through it in silence with no counseling. So yeah, around that time I was bleeding on people, not really knowing how to convey how I felt. I didn't even know how I felt. If we're gonna keep it a being, I did not know how I felt. I didn't know how I felt. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it just seemed like everybody else was on a completely different page than I was. And I felt used. And I also felt like I was like falling behind, right? So after that whole debacle, after that whole friendship breakup, because of that trigger, I left school for summer break, saved up enough money, and really talked to my mom. And I was just like, I want to get my own apartment. Girl, I didn't want to be in school. Get my own apartment. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So yeah, like my junior year, I got my own apartment. It was cool. My roommates were cool. They were both named Jasmine. Shout out to both the Jasmines. I fuck with them heavy still. But yeah, like it was around that time where I had started to realize, I was like, man, I hate being at school. But I was also really getting into like wanting to like make music. I'm a singer, by the way. I do be singing. I do be writing music. I do like music. I love music. And wait, which brush should I use to blend my shit? I don't know, girl. We're gonna keep using this. But yeah, so I started getting really deep into music, and it definitely, I think it healed something in me. So I started to like really get into the idea of music. It was like a diary at that point. Okay, that's a nice little blend. I still don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna keep going. Because, girl, we already done started. We already done got to this point. Because of that, I had really started to like pivot my attention. Like this was something that after a long time of just like not really truly having any motivation for anything, I had this deep motivation for music. Sorry, y'all, my phone going off. Family group chat. Yeah, by that time, I was just like, fuck it. I don't want to be in school no more. So I told my mom. She was like, okay, well, you can come on home. And, you know, you can figure out what you're going to do later. And so I was like, all right, let's do that. So I have been home since then. Mind you, I was a junior in 2019. This is my first semester. So you can imagine after first semester, what happened then? After New Year's, right? 2020, yeah, pandemic. So everybody was out of school. I was not the only one who had to leave school or who left school. I didn't have to leave school. I literally left. It was so funny because when I had went to the admissions office, it was during exam season. And so I was like, I literally messaged all my professors and I was just like, hey, I'm not enjoying school. I hate it here. I'm going to leave. And they were just like, oh, well, okay, cool. And I was just like, right. So, does this look okay? It's going to have to look okay. I don't know what else to do. But yeah, so I literally taught my professors. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be here no more. And it was just like, okay, well, it was nice knowing you. I was like, all right, cool, see you. And so I went to the admissions office and I was just like, hey, I'm not taking my exam because I want to leave school. What do I need to do? They was like, well, are you getting kicked out? I was like, no, I don't want to be here anymore. And it was just like, okay, well, they just looked at me so funny. It was so funny. I was just like, yeah, I don't really want to be here anymore. And it was just like, okay, well, I mean, they asked me my name. I told them my name. They checked my transcript. They said, well, your GPA is fine. So, I mean, if you don't want to take your exam, then you don't have to. You can literally just leave. Like, and I was like, all right, bet. So I literally just left, packed my shit up, and I got the fuck up out of there. It was also around this time where I was discovering a love for music that I had found out that my daddy was cheating again.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really.
And that was really fucking with my mental as well. Because I'm just like, damn, again. Because my daddy cheated on my mama with his current wife. And me and my sister had to literally like be accomplices in his cheating because my stepmom, his current wife, was my elementary school assistant principal.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Right. Right. And yeah, so he was just doing this shit all over again and making me and my sister accomplices all over again. And yeah, like it was just really fucking with my mind. And so while I was also going through that, I was also just like, man, fuck. I need this break. I need this break, man. I'm not talking about any of the products that I'm using. I'm using Morphe banana powder. Mind you, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, like, so I was just going through a lot also. Like, you know, just imagine throughout this whole conversation that I'm having with y'all, I've been going through a whole lot, right? I just been going through a whole lot. And so while I was going through a whole lot, it just kept bringing me further and further back into my mind. It just led me further into the depths of my own system. It led me to face my own darkness. It led me to kind of concede with my own darkness. It led me to understand the polarities of the human experience, right? All while trying to like all while trying to maintain a sense of normalcy. And you can imagine how that kind of like also fucks your head up. You are still, well, I am still in a place where I'm trusting in a program, trusting in a way of being, even if subconsciously I wasn't really like on that for real, you get what I'm saying? And so because of that, that lack of understanding, it was really hard for me in the beginning to express myself, because I didn't know, like, I was still in a situation where I was just like, well, who do I be? How do I be? Like, I'm being told to be one thing. I'm being shamed because I'm not all of it, but I'm also really gravitating towards this other thing that I'm being shamed for, because it doesn't seem real enough to anybody else. And so because of that, yeah, like I just kept going further and further into my mind. And but that polarity affected the way that I navigated my relationships. It affected the way that I navigated my sense of self. It affected the way that I even depicted how my life could turn out to be. This is a Tarte lash primer. I got this when I was in Chicago. Loved it still. And so yeah, like, it affected the ways that I navigated my relationships, because I just felt like this push to kind of like associate myself with the status quo, with the program, with a system that was already in place and implemented. So in terms of this system, right, I'm supposed to be somebody who's constantly down on her luck because I didn't finish school, because, you know, I chose to take the route of esotericism and be a little woo lady, right? So I'm supposed to kind of just be this delusional, crazy, crabby, insane lady who doesn't really know what they're talking about. It is kind of like in La La Land. And for a long time, I subconsciously lived by that belief system. I lived by that thinking that I wasn't able to be who I knew I could be. I knew personally and internally that I had done so much, you know, on the back end that people didn't know about, that gave me so much evidence of that not being the truth. But at the same time, I felt this pull to just continue being all that I am in a system and in a society. We live in a society, guys. In a society where, you know, you're not really given that opportunity to create space for yourself unless you are super mega wealthy. And I was just like, girl, I don't give a fuck. I will take that time. I will take that space. I don't care if that makes me look like a stupid idiot bum who doesn't know what the fuck they got going on in life. I don't care. Should I do some blush? Let's do some blush. This is Black Radiance. I got this a long time ago. It still works just fine. I might need to get some new makeup though. But we're gonna think about that later. But yeah, so I like putting my blush like on my nose bridge like that, because I have a very round face. And as much as I like, okay, hold on, I ain't 2 minutes. Right? Ain't 2 minutes. But I still like the bridge on my nose. It just makes me look very cute. Yeah, so what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. I'm just gonna say all that to say I was in situations where I was not putting my best foot forward, because I was, like I said, I was in a spiral where I was believing in the status quo that people wanted me to have, just based off of their own systems and how they have perpetuated those systems, how they have involved themselves in that system. And I harmed myself. Like I said, I went through some serious eating disorders, crazy addictions, you know what I'm saying? I went through some very serious stuff because I was being pushed to abide by some common rule that didn't really feel right to me, but I felt pulled to just be this entirely different idea of what reality looked like for anybody, you know, other than me. And it was weird because like I said, it wasn't a reality that anyone else had other than myself. So girl, look at my lips. It's that setting spray's matte, because girl, I got an oily ass face. This is the voluminous L'Oreal mascara. But yeah, like, because my world was so fitted for myself, I had to find that confidence to just be like, take it, you know? And everybody around me and what I would tell them of just my experience and how I saw the world and stuff like that, I didn't realize that, you know, these people themselves lacked fulfillment. And so that take it mentality rubbed off, and other people sought to try and take whatever it was that I had, and not in a very, you know, overt abusive way like how it was in the past. It was more so like a distraction, right? A distraction of sorts. It was like, oh, you have this idea? Girl, I don't know, that's a little bit delusional. Maybe you want to rethink that. Or, oh, you know, you have this goal that you want to set. Tell me everything about it. Leave no detail unturned. And while you tell me all about it, I'm going to completely doubt you throughout the course of you trying to get this done. And then I realized, hey, these niggas are trying to distract me. What the hell? So I literally was just like, girl, hold on, let me stop telling my damn business. But then that led to me being like, wait, I am operating in a deep scarcity mentality. Why am I around people who are telling me what I believe in is delusional? Why am I around people who are telling me who I am is not realistic, and that I'm meant to have some slot in my life that I need to just shut up and take? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like, so in my adulthood, that was really some of the biggest lessons that I had to really just like take heed on. Just like, I'm allowing for these people who still perpetuate this system to kind of like tell me who I'm supposed to be, just because that's what they did and that's how they believe in themselves. I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna add, oh girl, my shit ashy. Damn. I'm gonna re-add my moles that I covered up with my makeup. I don't think my makeup looks that bad. I like it. So yeah. But yeah, I literally was just seeking out connections that kind of perpetuated that push and pull that made me feel the need to suppress myself, as opposed to like just, you know, being around people who actually wanted the best for me and believed in, you know, the vision that I had. Yeah, like that was the main lesson that I had learned recently, was that I was putting myself in this push and pull with rekindling that old college friendship that I had. And yeah, like I was just like, you know what, it's not even your fault in regards to the other person. I'm like, you know what, it's not your fault that you like this. It's not your fault. You found your lot in life, you found your slot, and you taking it. I can't be mad at that. And they did it very well. I'm very proud of them. I will always be very proud of them. But in my own eyes and in my own understanding of what they chose and what that meant for me, I refuse to be unhappy. I refuse. You know, there's 8 billion people in this damn world. 8 billion damn people. And you telling me not one of them motherfuckers figured out an alternative way of living that brings them fulfillment and also security within their self and within the material world? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. I want that mental, and I want, you know, I want that mental clarity, and I want that stability in knowing that what I'm doing is bringing joy to myself, you know, bringing joy to others, and isn't taking me through the ringer. I can't just sit and grin and bear it. I will literally destroy myself in the process of doing so. I just talked about how I did. Yeah, that's literally all of my business. To a point, that's all of my business. Right, that's all of my business. And we are also done with this makeup look. And I am very happy with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very happy with it. Don't mind the ashy t-shirt. Did not look like this in the beginning. But if you stuck around this long to listen to me ramble and rants, thank you for listening to me ramble and rants. My name is Shayla Ashley. I fuck with y'all. Peace out. Till next time.